begin with, so being from Danbury, do you have any memories of Danbury Speedway? I'm sure, because I think it might have closed before
God,
you were born,
yeah.
but...
No. I was in Danbury Race Arena from 73 to the day it closed, which was 82. So I was there for a good 9 years. My dad started racing there back in 76, 77. And so he ran there 77 till the day it closed. And I think it was 1981 was the last race. I think Don LaJoy won that race. My dad went there every week, and we as a family, I remember my mom carrying me in her arms. You know, when I was 4 or 5. You know, I was born in '69, so I was probably four years old when I used to go to the Danbury Fairgrounds, and we used to go to the fairgrounds every year there. So great, super place, probably one of the greatest short track racetracks back in the day. And not only that, they used to pack it in. I mean, literally close to 10,000 people every week, and now it's gone. It's sad because they tore it down and they built a mall around that place. So yeah, amazing days. I remember a lot.
Your route to NASCAR is interesting. You raced in karting. You went over to Europe and raced some. Was NASCAR always your plan, or did you consider staying over in Europe? Or
Yeah, there was a plan. I did do some road racing. I came from road racing, but I was doing oval track racing on dirt. I remember doing the road courses with the asphalt carts, and on Saturday nights we used to run at the speedway and the dirt track, and I won in both. But my dad was a huge fan, and we did a lot of oval track racing at the Danbury Fairgrounds with him. And then I started taking off in karts, and I was doing really well on the road courses, and won a lot of track championships and gold cups in 4-stroke. Drove for a lot of teams, and I think I got introduced to the Skip Barber Racing School. I did that. I did some races. I got a taste of victory very early. I think I won like 18 out of the 21 races I ran. So really, I was heading towards an F1 or an IndyCar ride, and I did. I tested for MD Lights for Barry Green back in the day, and I don't know if Ray Hall remembers this, but he asked if I had at least $1 million liability to test his IndyCar, and that's when I decided to just shoot towards NASCAR. I did race in Europe, had a chance to stay out there and do F3000, but I got cold feet. Being away from we're kind of spoiled here in America. So I came back and I just focused on NASCAR, and I made it in 1997. So it was a good choice. I wouldn't have changed anything about it.
your resume includes teams like Melling Racing, Hedrick Motorsports, MBV. Did you have one that stood out to you as your favorite, or that you felt like it was home to you? Or
Yeah, the most home felt team that I raced for was probably Melling. Harry Melling, Mark Melling's son, who ran it, Jeff Bice, all the guys on the team were like home people. It wasn't a very big team. It wasn't a top team, but we made it like a top team. I used to go there every day, have lunch with the guys. And, to me, I enjoy carrying a car. I enjoy being a factor on the team. And, unfortunately, I got picked up by Hendricks right after Melling. So that was a sad moment in my career, early on in career in '99, after running, consecutive top fives in the number 9 car, and then having to leave and go to Hendricks. But I wouldn't have changed anything. I mean, Rick and all the guys there, they gave me all the right tools to make it happen. It just, for some sort of reason, didn't work out. But yeah, if I can do it all over again, and I had $15 to $20 million to make it happen, I would stay. I would stay with the team like Melling.
So, like, NASCAR's knowledge of head injuries has evolved a lot over the years. And when you had your accident, there was just a lot of misinformation, people not really understanding. Can you speak a little bit about how that experience was back then, where you have this accident and it's almost like everyone trying to figure out, like,
If you're good enough to go back.
like where do we go, the recovery process, like.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, because we didn't have a lot of that back in the late 90s, early 2000. It was more or less take your aspirin and go back racing. I can think and remember the times I felt really woozy and I shouldn't have been in a car. Even the fumes that you get at times when you crush your inner well panels and you're getting all the exhaust fumes and you're breathing this stuff in. Now it's totally changed. I mean, the drivers today have it so well made with how well the cars are, how well the tracks are, with the safer barriers, all the stuff in the material in the cockpits of the cars, the air conditioned units for the helmets. Yeah, I mean, times evolved. I can remember 5, maybe 8 concussions that I've had in my life, and obviously every time you have a concussion, you do damage to your brain. So the last one was big, and there really isn't. I don't know of a protocol because I really don't follow the NASCAR sanction as much as I used to. So I don't know how they test head injury stuff. Like I do understand. I know when Junior got hurt, he had to go through a protocol, and it was like another week before he actually came back. So there was, when I got hurt, I remember waking up and I didn't even know my phone number, my own address.
Wow.
That's disturbing, because your mind is so precious, and it's like a computer. Sometimes your computer locks up. Well, unfortunately, I lost my numbers and I lost a lot of stuff from my past, from my accident. So, part of life, I guess.
When you look back on your career, is there a moment that stands out to you, like, as your favorite, or you point to that as like that's where I remember the best, or that was my favorite, or anything?
I remember the times with me and my dad going racing in the back of our pickup truck and just showing up with a bunch of guys that have really nice haulers, and all the kart factories were there, and we went out there and beat them. And I think that's when people started taking notice. It was at a big Gold Cup race, and I think that's when I met the Bill Bonsignor at Oakland Valley. We won the race, but we got thrown out. And I think a lot of it is we got thrown out because I was a new guy. And that's when I got picked up by Bill Bonsignor, and they said, you know what, if you were with me, you would have not got thrown out. So it made me learn a lot about the past growing up. But I remember just some of the scenarios when I was racing in Europe when we finished 4th in the Formula Ford Festival. That is like the biggest road racing Formula Ford race in Europe. Every year they have one. They're called the Formula Ford Festival, and you're getting realistically 200 to 300 drivers for one weekend, and they have a 30-car, 20-lap field at the end of the weekend. And we were able to qualify, and we started outside pole. We were leading it, and then we got knocked off the track with a lap to go, and we finished 4th anyway. But that was my buddy Joseph Newgarner from IndyCar. Not really my buddy, but I know of him, and I'm sure you guys do. Joseph Newgarner won it back in 2010. But I held the record all the way to 2010 until he went out there and spanked everyone. So, but it's cool to see a person like that do it, win it, and be that successful in Indy cars. I think I'm sure a lot of people idolize a guy like that. But yeah, those are some of the memories, the karting championships, racing out in Europe, my win in Atlanta. Those were good moments.